Welcome everyone to our 15th Philadelphia Accident and Injury Google Hangout. My name is Steve and I'll be your host for today's Hangout. Once again, we'll be talking with Rand Spear, Philadelphia's accident attorney and a terrific resource for information on accidents, injuries, and the legal process. Today we're going to talk about big rig and truck related accidents. The U.S. DOT reported that in 2012 nearly 4,000 people were killed and 104,000 people were injured in crashes with big rigs. There were a total of 330,000 traffic accidents involving big rigs. So this is a pretty important issue, and I think it's important that we cover this. So Rand, can you give us some more information on truck accidents?
Well, they're really some of the most devastating type of accidents that occur on the roadway. As the statistics prove that you just told us about, so many people, they're fatalities, and when you are injured, they're very, very serious, severe injuries. So you really have to be very careful on the road. Most of the accidents involving big rigs happen to occur during the week, during daytime hours, which is what we would expect to see because that's when the big rigs are mostly on the highway traveling. So you really have to be careful. And then the other thing you should know is that a lot of them occur when the vehicles are traveling in the same direction, not at intersections. So you also want to be on guard because keep in mind they're very heavy, these big rigs and these trucks. They need a lot more braking distance in order to bring their vehicle to a complete stop. So it's very important that when you're in front of one of these monster trucks or big rig trucks, that you be cognizant of the fact that the truck behind you needs a lot of room to stop. So you do not want to stop short. You want to make sure you give them adequate braking distance so that they can stop if need be.
You know, that's a lot of interesting information right there. I think that most people are careful around intersections, they see a big rig, but knowing that the greatest time that you could get into an accident is during the week, during the day, and in a straight line, I don't think most people give that as much thought as they could, and I think that's really important. So, Ram, what are the leading causes of truck accidents? What would you say?
Well, usually it's truck driver negligence, and that can be fatigue, distraction, reckless, speeding, bad maintenance. The trucking company itself oftentimes is responsible. Improper inspections, faulty equipment, improper maintenance, overloading the vehicle, putting items that are too heavy, that are beyond the capacity to be able to stop, because the heavier the truck, the longer brake distance time you're going to need. So there's so many variables that you have to look at. Most truckers keep logs, records of when they're on the road, when they're off the road, their days on, their days off. And so you really want to start to look at the maintenance logs and the repair logs and the driver logs to give yourself a sense of whether or not this vehicle is being operated in a safe manner.
Yeah, that's a good point. So what are the most common types of injuries, and aren't they generally more serious than in passenger car accidents?
Absolutely. I mean, you have a lot of fatalities, which are really very unfortunate. And then usually when there is an injury, it's a very significant injury. It's internal injuries, it's fractures, it's herniations, it runs the gamut. But generally speaking, when we bring in an accident involving a tractor trailer, there's usually tremendous injuries associated with it.
Right. Who can be held accountable under the law for these truck accidents?
Well, naturally, the driver would be responsible. The trucking company would be responsible. You could have a maintenance or repair company that could be responsible. You could have the shipping company responsible. So you have to really investigate each case and determine the cause. Oftentimes you want to bring in an accident reconstructionist or an engineer. Depending on the facts of the case, that will dictate what type of expert you want to have and what type of review you want to engage in order to really determine why did this accident happen?
Right, and then why it happened, and then ultimately who caused that to happen. So
Absolutely.
interesting. If you've got a case in Pennsylvania or New Jersey related to any accident or injury, please call Rand Spear, the accident lawyer, at 888-373-4LAW, or visit the firm at www.randspear.com. Thanks again for sharing your experience and knowledge with our audience, Rand. I want to thank everyone for participating today, and I invite our audience to come back and hang out next time when we'll be discussing a new and important topic. That's all for now, and goodbye. You have a good day, Rand.
Have a great day, Steve. Thank you.
Thanks. Be well.